All right, guys, one more rant here about let's take that B7 chord again. And you hear so many guys talking about you can't voice things together in the upper register. So if we got the fifth on top, of course, if you're playing chord melody, you're not going to sit there and voice a chord with like a 5 and a flat 5 or a 5 and a sharp 5 right above it in the upper voice. That's nuts. That's common sense. But when you're playing lines over a B7 with that fifth in the upper register, you can still play a sharp 5 or a flat 5 against that, or the fifth. If you're going to the D, okay, if somebody's playing in the same register, you can play here resolved down to the D. So you're hearing that. Or you could play the fifth, sharp 5, or the flat 5, say like something like that line I played before, resolve into the D. So that's what, same register, the flat 5's in there, and that's going to work. I could put these against a backing track because you're not hearing all the notes at the same time. It's if somebody was playing and the soloist is going right on top of those chords, it still may work, but then you might get a clash. But that's not the way music is heard. There's cracks and there's spaces, and you hear the line flowing and guiding your ear. And the guy doesn't have to resolve that line. If he stays on the sharp 5, then the guy behind the compa who's playing the piano or whatever, then they play the D minor and they resolve it. So you're being that heard. It's being resolved even if you don't, the soloist doesn't. The guys playing the chords behind it resolve it. It's not like you're hearing those notes at the same time. That's what you're worried about. But that's not the way music is heard. It's resolved. You hear the flow of the line, and it guides your ear around. You can hear both those notes at the same time. It's nuts to think otherwise. When you're playing and you're soloing and a compa's comping, do you think you're going to know what he's hitting every time, or do you think he's stuck just playing, beforehand you say, I'm going to play a sharp 5 at that point in the song every time. I'm going to play a flat 5 right there, or a natural 5 right there. You don't know that, and nobody can read somebody's mind and know that, and you can't, and you're in the middle of a line and you're hearing like that flat 5 coming up and he plays the natural 5, you're going to shift your line instantly? No, nobody can do that. Nobody's a mind reader. That's the way music's heard. He can be playing something that's pulling your ear into it, and you're playing something, and both lines can coexist at the same time. That's the way music's heard. It's just cracks in their spaces. The notes do not have to line up. That's why scales don't work. They're totally limiting because they're saying on top of the chord, these are the notes that have to work right on top. False. That's not the way jazz is played. And if you stick to that and you go by like a chord scale or whatever, this note has to line up with that, you will not be able to play so much of what the best jazz musicians play. That's what separates them. They can play all these other things in there and make beautiful melodic lines. So that's what it's all about. End of rant.